Hello everyone, welcome to my channel this morning. We're going to make southern pecan pralines today, and this is what you're going to need. We're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar. Put it in your saucepan. We're going to need 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. Pour that in there. And a 1/2 stick of butter, which is equal to 1/4. Now, with this butter, if you're using butter that's already salted, you don't have to do anything. But if you're using unsalted butter, then you'll want a pinch of salt with that. So let's add our pinch of salt. All right, let's turn the burner on. We want it on medium when we're doing this. I'm going to put it on medium, in between medium and low and medium high. Now we'll get that going. What you're going to do is you're going to stir this all together once it gets warmed up here. This is going to make like a caramel sauce to it. Now, I am not using a thermometer. This is the no thermometer recipe. Easy southern pecan praline recipe without a thermometer. The rest of my cream in there. Get it all out. So in this recipe, it calls for 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1/4 cup of salted butter, or equaling a 1/2 stick of butter. And it doesn't have to be melted or softened because it's going to do that when you put it in the pan. So just put it in there the way it is. And then if you're using unsalted butter, a pinch of salt. And this is what we're going to do first, but I will give you a rundown of the whole ingredients. This also has 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract in it, and 1 cup of powdered sugar, and 1.5 cups of pecan halves or pieces. Now I have some halves and I have mostly pieces, but you are allowed to use, if you just have pieces, go ahead and use your pieces. It'll turn out the same way. And another variation in this is you can use walnuts instead of pecans, walnut halves. So I'm going to turn the fire up a little bit there. And you want to get this all melted. The butter is almost melted now. All right, and when it starts to boil, bring it to a boil. When you see the bubbles, Gently stirring all this together. And it all gets solidified, or not solidified, but melted, and it's all mixed together well. Then as soon as it starts to boil, you're going to put in the rest of the ingredients. The pecans and the powdered sugar and the vanilla. Make sure you scrape the bottom of the pan while you're stirring it so nothing hardens or sticks on the bottom. It makes a light brown sauce. It's best to use light brown powdered sugar instead of the dark brown because the light brown will give you a better flavor for your pralines. All right, I'm starting to get some bubbles. I'm going to let it boil here for 1 minute, and then I'm going to put in the rest of the ingredients. Make sure it's just 1 minute because it won't take long for it to boil. And you don't want it to solidify. Stirring constantly here. All right, now I'm going to pour in the pecans. One cup of powdered sugar, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And you need to stir it quickly, work quickly, because you don't want it to get hardened on you. Turn the fire down just a little bit there. Get around the edges of the pan. It should be nice and creamy. And this will make it so it's not grainy. It won't have that grainy effect with the brown sugar. Stirring well. All right, now we don't want to cook it too long. Just stir it up a little bit. It's all mixed together well. Takes 1 minute to reach its consistency, and then it'll start hardening. Then you're going to turn off your burner, and you will start putting it on your cookie sheet. Now, I have parchment paper on my cookie sheet, but you can have, if you want, you can have wax paper, or you can just put it on your bare cookie sheet. So, this is how we're going to work this. I have to do a little juggling around here. Now, as I go along, I'm going to put a teaspoonful, or as big as I want them, on the parchment paper. Now, you may need more than 1 cookie sheet. You may need 2 cookie sheets. It all depends on how big you want your pralines. But they will harden as they set. Now it says to let them set 30 minutes, or if you're impatient and you want to taste them earlier than that, you can always put them in the refrigerator. They're like little patties. All depending on how big you make them. It's supposed to make 24. I don't think I'm going to be getting 24 out of this, but you can always try to make them a little smaller. Let's make a few small ones. All right, that's all set. Now I'm going to let that sit for a while. I'll go get my other cookie sheet. Good way to set it like that. There. It smells so yummy. This is a good Christmas candy to make, and it doesn't even have to be Christmas. You can make these all year round. Have them to have a sweet piece of candy with your latte, your pecan praline and your latte. I'm making them a little smaller now so I can try to get some more in here. This is so yummy. I remember this when we lived in New Orleans. I love to have pecan pralines. And you let them sit. It's already starting to solidify, so I'm going to make a couple little ones here. But you see how big they are. Don't have to make them this big. You can make them smaller. These are like little patties. Makes for a yummy, yummy candy. Yummy in the tummy. Let's see how many I have. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I got about 19 or 20. Not quite 2 dozen. But like I say, I've made some of them bigger. They don't have to all be big. So I hope you enjoyed watching me make the pecan pralines, and that's what you're going to do. And then you're going to let them sit for 30 minutes. And like I say, if you don't want them, if you're impatient and you don't want to sit there and wait for them, you can always put them in the refrigerator and they'll cool a lot faster that way. So try the recipe and enjoy this channel. Like, share, and subscribe to Linda Christopherson. Talk to you next week. Tuesday, every Tuesday I'm on. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Time. See you then.